Welcome back, everyone. This is The Way. This is going to be my first Mandalorian Season 3 video and top 10 WTF predictions now that we know way more about what's going on with the characters next. Not just the Mandalorian, Din Djarin and Grogu, but all the other side characters too, after the events of the Book of Boba Fett finale. If you're new to the channel, I will be doing videos for all the Star Wars episodes this year. Obi-Wan Kenobi are the next episodes we're getting in May, so hello there. We have the Rogue One prequel episodes, and then the Mandalorian Season 3 episodes will start by the end of the year, about the same time that the Book of Boba Fett episode started. Just blanket spoiler warning for everything that just happened on the Book of Boba Fett if you have not watched those episodes yet. But we got a little teaser for the Mandalorian Season 3 at the end of that for what Mando and Grogu are going to be doing. Obviously, he modified that Naboo N1 starfighter. There's a little Grogu-sized pod in it, and they had that funny moment of him tapping on the glass to get him to punch the accelerator over and over again. But I think it's pretty easy to assume that eventually they will get a bigger starship. Like if they're going to be pulling jobs again together and Mando will be doing some more bounty hunting to earn money along the way, he'll have to eventually get a bigger ship. But he'll probably still be flying that starfighter, at least at the beginning of The Mandalorian Season 3. And if it wasn't clear, they were also trying to tell you with this scene that the events of The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 1 will pick up pretty closely right after the events of this scene right here. But top 10 WTF predictions. Number 10, obviously we have to start with Grogu and Luke Skywalker, saying that Grogu will not leave Mando again to go back to become a Jedi training under Luke Skywalker at his brand new temple, on a planet that Lucasfilm still has not named yet. No reference to what planet this is in any of the material anywhere in Star Wars yet. Grogu left Luke Skywalker during the Book of Boba Fett, choosing to go back to the Mandalorian, and per Luke Skywalker's test, the way he explained it to Grogu, making him choose between the Mandalorian armor, Yoda's lightsaber. If he chose the armor, he would be forsaking the Jedi path that Luke Skywalker was laying out for him. So literally, at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, after leaving Mando, then coming right back to Mando during the Book of Boba Fett after a short time jump, they're not going to, again, just have him turn right back around and go back to Luke Skywalker. Also, bringing him back to Mando was practically a move that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni made because Grogu and Mando together are the show. That's The Mandalorian. So number 9, The Yodalorian. As I've said before, they'll continue to pay off the concept that the title of the show, The Mandalorian, is also meant to be a reference to Grogu, not just Din Djarin. Like all through The Mandalorian Season 1, Season 2, even the Book of Boba Fett episodes with the little tiny Mandalorian armor, they kept referencing foundlings, children from other cultures that Mandalorians would rescue, take into their culture, and they would become Mandos themselves.
As a Mandalorian foundling, he should have this. It's his right.
Din Djarin was a foundling. Grogu became a foundling. The Armorer even told Mando back in Season 1 that they're a clan of two now, Mando being like Grogu's new father, and that's how they played their dynamic through all these seasons and episodes. Grogu, in choosing the Mandalorian armor, wearing the armor, is his way of saying that he is a Mandalorian too. I think it would be too on the nose for him to literally say this is the way with his tiny little mouth. If he could speak as well as other members of his species like Yoda, he would also probably say it out loud though. Number 8, even though Grogu chose the armor over Yoda's lightsaber, forsakes the traditional Jedi path that Luke Skywalker was offering him, he will still continue to train in the Force, deepen his connection to the Force. He'll just be following his own path, like Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano is not a Jedi, she left the Jedi Order, but she continued to deepen her connection with the Force. That's also why they wrote that scene of Luke Skywalker, who was standing right next to Ahsoka when he was talking about it, saying that he wasn't so much teaching Grogu new Force abilities as much as he was helping him remember his previous training at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant before Order 66. He was unlocking Grogu's hidden memories, Jedi knowledge that he suppressed in order to save himself from the Emperor, Darth Vader, Jedi Hunters, the Inquisitors. So Grogu will just continue to remember things as he's traveling with Mando, having adventures bit by bit, and we'll just see him use a lot of the Force abilities that he and Luke Skywalker practice in more complex ways. Like in the Book of Boba Fett finale, they paid off the Yoda size matters not speech that Luke Skywalker gave him when he calmed down the Rancor. Number 7, speaking of Ahsoka Tano, she will come back again for another cameo scene, and she'll eventually meet up with Luke Skywalker again in the distant future, not during The Mandalorian Season 3. Her showing up during the Book of Boba Fett episode just paid off one of my huge predictions after The Mandalorian Season 2. She left at the end of her episode to continue her mission to find Grand Admiral Thrawn, Ezra Bridger, with Sabine Wren. But the whole idea was that after they confirmed the series would be using Luke Skywalker as a major character, like we saw Ahsoka come back before we knew that Luke Skywalker was coming back. After he did, we were all just waiting for some Ahsoka Tano, Luke Skywalker scenes together, because canonically, they never actually met in person up to that point in the timeline. When she left Luke Skywalker at the end of the episode and said perhaps they'd see each other again, that was Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau saying, yes, definitely they'll have more scenes together in the future, just not right away. I do not expect Luke Skywalker to show up in a cameo scene during Mando Season 3. I was even blown away that they brought him back during the Book of Boba Fett, but they did that to pay off all the Grogu Jedi Temple training scenes. That's also why they did not bring him back in the finale. Like, okay, we did that. We did our Luke Skywalker cameo scene. We don't need to do that again. When Ahsoka left, though, she just left to continue her mission to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. And when she crosses paths again with Mando and Grogu during The Mandalorian Season 3, she'll still be on that mission, but probably just briefly help Mando and Grogu with whatever problem they're dealing with at the moment. Ahsoka, just in general, in the Star Wars universe in this part of the timeline, is sort of like the sage Obi-Wan Kenobi figure of the series, the wizened older Force user who can answer most of their questions or tell them where to get answers that she herself can't answer directly. And just for reference, even though obviously Ahsoka seems older, she isn't that old. She's in her 40s during present day of the series. She's just a few years older than Din Djarin himself, given how young he was during the events of the Clone Wars and the prequels. Number 6, despite featuring Yoda's lightsaber and referencing so many Yoda moments during the Book of Boba Fett, they probably will not have any actual Yoda Force Ghost cameo scenes during The Mandalorian Season 3. I think that if Force Ghost Yoda ever does speak to Grogu directly or appear to Grogu, they would probably save something like that for the very end of the series. Grogu was even a little confused when Luke Skywalker asked him if he remembered Yoda from the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. And even though there's all these theories about Yoda secretly being Grogu's father because members of their species are so rare, Grogu would have had to have encountered Yoda at the Jedi Temple at some point in his early life there, long before Order 66. The reason why he probably couldn't remember Yoda immediately here is probably just because of all those suppressed memories that Luke was helping unlock. So he could always continue to remember things about Yoda in flashbacks as part of his training. And as per the Book of Boba Fett finale, Grogu did not have Yoda's lightsaber, so I think that stayed with Luke Skywalker at the Jedi Temple. Number 4, the Mandalorian Din Djarin will continue training with the darksaber to make more lightsaber references, training in lightsaber combat. He'll probably wind up fighting another Mandalorian or someone else who wants the actual darksaber or wants to take it from him, like he fought Jon Favreau's Paz Vizsla for the darksaber recently. That'll continue to happen, people challenging him along the way. While he continues to get better wielding the darksaber, he'll also learn how to control his emotions while using the darksaber and some Jedi techniques for lightsaber combat. The reason why the blade gets heavier when people wield it is because all the lightsaber crystals inside the blade absorb the wielder's emotions, like they flow through the lightsaber itself. So the heavier the emotions, the darker the emotions, the heavier the blade becomes. Like the metaphorical baggage that each wielder brings with them literally turns into actual baggage, making the darksaber heavier. So Mando will have to learn some classic Jedi techniques like letting go of his emotions while fighting with it. Number 3, Bo-Katan will come back and they'll continue her storyline of stealing more ships from the remnants of the Empire in her bid to retake the planet Mandalore. Mando will continue to help her when she shows up, but overall Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, the other actors, have said that The Mandalorian Season 3 is meant to be more like The Mandalorian Season 1 in terms of structure and tone. More so than what they did during The Mandalorian Season 2 with all the characters. The difference between Season 1 and Season 2 is that Season 1 was more about him going around pulling bounty hunting jobs to keep Grogu alive. Season 2 was more about finding the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, and getting Grogu to the Jedi Academy. So that just means that Season 3 will be more about Mando and Grogu's adventures together episode to episode, pulling jobs, and occasionally helping the other major side characters who show up like Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, any other huge characters that they bring back. And yes, most of the Boba Fett characters will come back too, like Boba Fett himself will come back during Mando Season 3. Number 2, speaking of other huge characters, Sabine Wren will probably be one of the next big characters that they introduce during Season 3 as part of Ahsoka Tano's storyline. They confirmed that they'd cast a Sabine actress for the Ahsoka series, but they won't actually be filming that for a little while, so I think the reason why they did that so early is because they announced her right before they started filming The Mandalorian Season 3, because they probably plan to debut her in a cameo scene during The Mandalorian Season 3 episodes. And she'll just show up as part of Ahsoka Tano's storyline. Their storyline during The Mandalorian that they'll continue to cover during the actual Ahsoka episodes when they start that series next year is all about finding Ezra Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn. It's sort of like a continuation of the tease that they had at the end of Star Wars Rebels in that finale. But as of the events of Mandalorian Season 2, Thrawn had returned from the unknown regions, meaning that Ezra Bridger had also probably returned too, but they didn't know where he was, probably somewhere else inside the Outer Rim. They have not confirmed who's playing live-action Ezra Bridger yet, but we'll probably find out pretty soon. In number 1, big prediction, also pretty easy one to make, we'll probably get our first actual live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn cameo scene towards the end of Mandalorian Season 3. To make a Marvel reference, Thrawn is kind of like the Thanos of this part of the timeline in the Star Wars universe. They already confirmed that all the Mandalorian episodes and all the spin-off series that they're doing will eventually build up to a major Avengers Endgame style crossover event in this part of the timeline, and Grand Admiral Thrawn will be the main villain of that. We got the name drop during The Mandalorian Season 2. The next tease in setting that up would actually be seeing him on screen, like Thanos showing up in the post-credit scene of the first Avengers movie in Avengers Age of Ultron. Fine, I'll do it myself, but make it Star Wars. They have not confirmed who's playing him yet in live action, but my early theory, just because so many of the Clone Wars and Rebels animated characters and actors are coming back as the live action versions, like Katie Sackhoff being live action Bo-Katan, is that they'll just cast Lars Mikkelsen, who did the voice of Thrawn during Star Wars Rebels. Most of you probably remember him from Sherlock Season 3. His villain was a very Thrawn-like character. But post all your Mandalorian Season 3 predictions in the comments below. We might actually get some Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer footage at the Super Bowl this weekend. There are a few Marvel trailers that they're releasing. Whatever they wind up releasing, of course I'll do videos for all of it, so make sure you enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of those. Everyone click here for my full Book of Boba Fett Episode 7 finale video, and click here for my new Marvel X-Men teaser video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and this is the way.